Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Diva D. How you doing? Now, let me just say this real quick. This is gonna be a quick piping hot tea because I need to bring y'all what y'all looking for. The family business, baby. When I tell you that show is hot. Okay, but a lot of people don't want to subscribe to BET to get it. BET don't give you no breaks, honey. $9.99. But the great thing is you can buy for the year, and that's what I did to make it a little bit cheaper. This is for my family business, folks. I know. I'm about to talk about a piping hot tea, but I want to tell you about family business so you can go ahead and watch the videos if you don't choose to subscribe, because that's going to be next video coming up. But let's get into this piping hot tea. Okay, so I watched two interviews. I watched the interview with the Messy Mondays with Dr. Heavenly and Carlos King and Ken. And then I watched Carlos King and Quentin Latham, better known as Funky That I Need. So let me talk about Ken, Latricia, and Dr. Heavenly and Carlos first. The first thing Dr. Heavenly asked him was, to tell her something about himself. And he told her that he was originally from Dayton, Ohio. He moved to Huntsville when he was 9, and that's where he met Courtney. What her name is? Stormy's husband. And Stormy and Latricia were friends. Anyway. So we could just cut that out, like Stormy wasn't friends with Latricia. Okay. Now, just a little tea on Stormy real quick. I'm really aware of this Kyle situation. I'm going to let that play out before I even talk about it. I want to see, I can see him wanting more pay. And people are assuming that because Stormy is really flashy, and she is, I agree with that she is spending the church's money. But we don't know that for sure. She could be allocating a budget out for her income. And as the creator and the visionary behind Canvas Beauty, she deserves to do so with her money as she will. But within certain parameters, especially if she's not paying her folks. But like I said, I need to see this play out a little bit more before I start commenting on it. Now, back to Ken. And so that's where he met Courtney. So just one more time about Stormy. One more thing about Stormy. We need to stop the narrative that she had no connections to Alabama. Because if Ken met Stormy when she was, if Ken met Courtney when I say she because Courtney is one of those names, child. If Ken met Courtney when he was 9 years old, that means that she has ties to Alabama, because that means that Courtney is from Alabama. She just moved to where her husband was originally from. And a lot of people are saying that Stormy didn't have a home and she moved there for the marriage Huntsville. That's not true. She had a nice 5-bedroom house before she bought the plantation. She just wanted more room and space for the animals, allegedly. Okay, now moving right along. So then Dr. Heavenly was blowing smoke up his butt the whole interview. Let me just say that. And she talked about how handsome he was. And he is a good-looking man. Don't get me wrong. But I thought he was a little dense before this interview. A little naive, maybe. And a lot of people think that he was, other content creators that I watched thought that he was throwing Latricia under the bus because he said she had a horrible attitude. I don't see it that way. I saw a man that was fighting for his woman. One. Two, I don't think that other than that little part, I think that was what he was doing. Colin saying that she had a horrible attitude. She admitted that she had a horrible attitude herself. Then Dr. Heavenly talked about his communication skills, and she told him he had great communication skills. And he said, well, I just reflected on my other relationships. And when I reflected on these relationships, I saw that my problem was communication. Also, I love this woman. Boy, if you can't help who you fall in love with was a person. But no matter what they say, the timelining for Martell is still not making sense to me, seeing as how Marquez says that he was always involved even before he left. So if he was involved before he left, then that's a clue right there that she had dealings with Martell during their relationship, in my opinion. But he's trying to protect her for some reason. And for some reason trying to protect Martell. And it's really weird. This man has let loose on everybody on that show. And somehow, some way, Ken feels like Martell is the one who is his friend on the show. He said that little talk and that little ya and that Marceau and Maurice do, it gets on his nerves. Oh, it gets on everybody's nerves now. Don't get it twisted. But if I was counting on friends on that show, I would much prefer if I was a dude. Not if I was a woman, because these two dudes are very misogynistic. But if I was a dude, I think I would be friends with Maurice and Marceau over Martell, because Martell could have possibly laid up with my woman. And then you know how he treats women on the show. You do at least know that he was wilding out on Melody. So why would that be your dude that you would kick it with? You don't believe, is what you said, that he had any dealings with Latricia. Well, he said the audience can believe what they want to be. I'm one of those persons in the audience. I'm believing what I want to believe. It ain't no way Martell Holt. I call him Motel Hotel for a reason. Then try something, or they did something by her reaction. Nobody that was just training somebody is going to react and then come back and tell you that upset about somebody acting like they didn't know. Because I do that. I have done that to dudes I was dating. If they act like they didn't know me, hell, I acted like I ain't know them either. And didn't tell nobody that we acted like we didn't know each other. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. You gonna sit up here and we done kissed and hugged and act like you don't know me in front of other folks? Let's do that. My children's father used to do it. We went to an event together, and when he got to that event, he was with his boys. And I was like, oh, okay, we doing it like that. And so I did the same thing he did. I played with what he played with. If a dude that I'm dating introduces me as a friend, that's how I introduce them. See? Tit for tat. I don't mind being called petty. I'm a Scorpio, honey. I do that, as my mama used to say. Speaking of Scorpio, Ken is a Scorpio, November 4th. I caught that. And, of course, Dr. Heavenly is. And then she said, that's why I know you're a good man, because Scorpios do not deal with a whole bunch of shit. So you're trying to Make this thing work before you are done. Because when you are done, you're done. That's a fact. You know, I lose. If a dude tells me he doesn't want me, I just lose emotion for him. No matter how much I care for them, I lose emotion for him just like that. And my friends have told me, you act like a dude when you dating somebody. I said, that's because I'm not going to let anybody enter into my space and make a fool out of me. So I think that's exactly what he was trying to say about Latricia. Like, she had a guard up and she was very hurt. She's very hurt about the things that she's experienced in her life. So he's going to be there for her. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it seems to me, like I said, that he is just a little bit naive. He explained things about the car. He said that he already had a car and he gave the son a car. Either way it goes, he did something Marquez didn't do. And he said he just don't rock with deadbeat dads. And that's admirable. Okay? So he said he's going to rock with her. He's going to marry her. And he loves that woman. So let's leave him and his love alone. Except for the fact that you are friends with Martell, the man who allegedly beat it up. I don't like to use terms like that, but beat it up is better than me saying LCX, which is what they don't like for you to say for some reason in the algorithm. Weird. Now, let's move right on along to Quinn Latham. Child. Where do I start with Mr. Quinn? Now, they opened up the video with Quinn letting everybody know that he and Carlos are friends, okay? It's a few things. He talked about how, he would get people up off of him with his mouth, and no one could handle his mouth, and he knows that. And I mean, pick yourself up. That's fine. I did admire that about him, about how he was able to, talk his way out of any situation or, tell people off in any situation. That was a good thing. But he talked about his friendship with Doodle Brown, Michelle A.T. Alien Brown. I've always been on Q's side with that, even though, she showed picture evidence. It was the way she handled it. I do know this, and this is just my opinion. I feel like just because, she helped him in the internet streets, because he said he had a blog, and he let the blog go and try YouTube. I think it was a vice versa thing. I think they helped each other, because I didn't know who she was before I knew him. Now, I know a lot of people probably in Atlanta knew who she was, but as far as outside of that with her blog Straight from the A, I knew him because he would appear on her blog, and I thought that he was funny. Now, Doodle Brown is popular out here in these YouTube streets, don't get it twisted. But I had heard her say one thing that entertained me. I'm more of a person that you have to make me laugh in the videos, all up in the videos. And so Bunny Blue, for example, is a good mix of that. Funky is definitely a good mix of that. Initially, Tasha K was like that for me, and then it just turned dark for me with her, and I just don't fool with her at all. Sometimes it's like that with Quinn too. I mean, it'll turn dark with him, and I won't watch him for a long time. And I haven't watched him, proudly I can say that I haven't watched him other than this interview on his own platform since Kiki passed. I don't like what he said in this interview. I don't recall Carlos even mentioning that, that, I probably would have done it, but he was probably looking at the friendship aspect of things, and that's why you can't be a journalist and interview your friends. Because it seemed to me that he was kind of backing off a little bit to myself. Well, I don't tell everything. Both of them agree they got secrets on people. I'm glad y'all do. I can't tell. Let Quinn get mad at somebody. Right? As soon as he gets mad at Dr. Heavenly and Quad, I bet you some of those secrets are gonna fly out of his mouth. I bet they will, because he ain't one of those types of person that keeps his friendships above water when it's mad day. That's how I see it. And he didn't mention how he did indeed say that Claudia Jordan was his problem when he left the show. TGIF. I'm just saying, I remember all these things. Okay? So I can bring them back up real quick. Allegedly, everything in this video is alleged in my opinion. Hit the like button, notification bell button, so you can be notified when I upload a video. Now back to the interview. Now, I am very impressed with the way, all in all, I am impressed with the way the video turned out, the way the interview turned out. Quentin said that, you the only male friend I have that I hadn't slept with. I have to test the waters out, see if we're going to be a good friend. Now, there might be a situation where you need to get something on them and say, well, we slept together, so. And then he says, according to everybody, I'm on your payroll. As far as Love and Marriage Huntsville goes, because he thanked him for reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yeah. He was the only one to put Love and Marriage Huntsville on the map, in my opinion. For me, it was Bondi Blue, Terrence Giving You the Real Tea, and Scotty by Nature. Those were the three people that put it on the map for me, because I love It's Rocks. But Rocks wasn't reviewing the show when it first came out. She started reviewing it in the middle and then quit. She was like, hell no. But yeah, it wasn't cute for me. I mean, he was, initially, though, he liked the melody. And initially, he was dragging Letitia. And then he was dragging Letitia for bringing Kiki on the show. He always have had some issue with Kiki. And I don't know what it was, but he just never liked her. But for me, when I don't like a person and they pass away, I would never, ever say, I don't feel no ways tired about it. Never. No. That can't be me, especially on a platform as large as his. And I'm with Carlos, even though he doesn't have the numbers. I mean, maybe he and Richard Sky have the same numbers, but look, Tasha K has bigger numbers than he does. And even though he doesn't have the numbers as some of the bigger bloggers and some of the Caucasian bloggers, for some reason, Caucasian bloggers can get on this doggone platform and do the same thing that I do. And I have seen them come out at the same time I have, which I came out, my YouTube anniversary is coming up this month. I've seen them come on and do the same thing I do at the same time I do, and they have 1 million followers. I be like, what the fuck? And sometimes they only review the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I review about 17 shows. Well, it feel like it if I don't. I review how many Housewives shows do I recap? I do Atlanta, SLC, and Jersey. Now, I do watch OC and Dubai. I just don't review them. Are those the only ones? Oh, and Potomac. How did I forget Potomac? So, I got a good mix in there. But shoot, some of these Caucasian creators get on here and review one show. Mostly Jersey. And have 1 million followers. But I said all that to say the same thing applies to Quinn. He just has that it factor as far as him being able to attract people to his channel. He does. I'll give that to him. And then Carlos asked him, is there any other recappers that he admires? Because, he is the king of the YouTube streets. And he's like, well, I admire. He named Bunny, and I knew he would. I mean, Bunny is that girl for me. Okay? Now, I don't agree with everything she says either. But, especially with that situation with Belle Collective and the fight with Selena, we tongue-tussled a little bit. She just don't probably remember that. Of course, I'm a smaller channel. We tongue-tussled a little bit up in her chat. The only thing I said was, do you really think that So Gucci came there to fight Selena? Selena started that. No, she run up. That was their whole thing in old Ladies First on their channel or their platform when they do that panel show. And I was like, I don't agree with that. I mean, if somebody calling me, telling me I had your man first, this, that, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, I might turn around too and check and see what you're talking about. I'm going to tap me on the shoulder and say, well, am I the only, is Tamara the only person you see? Is that her name? I should know her name because I went to school with her. I wouldn't blank. So, Tambra. But I said all that to say is that, to get back to Carlos told him that he admired him for doing Love and Marriage Huntsville, and he told Carlos that he hated Belle Collective, and he wasn't going to recap that anymore. Well, that's the one you're missing out on, bro. Because Belle Collective is not, and again, I don't say this because I'm from the SIP. I say this because in Carlos' kingdom, for me, Belle Collective is my number one. Love and Marriage Huntsville is my number two. I like Detroit. So Detroit and DC is a tie for me. And baby, actually my number three is Family Empire Houston. I love that show so far. Let me say so far. It might take the place of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Hell, I really want to know the truth. But because it's just entirely too much drama on there. But back to the interview. Because Carlos can't help but talk about himself. He's going to big up himself and his connection to these people every time he interviews someone. We had Quinn says, well, you didn't get me on that now one of your shows. He said, well, I created Love and Marriage Huntsville so I could put you on there. I didn't create the Real Housewives of Atlanta or Real Housewives of New Jersey. Well, you were executive producer on it. You could have, pulled some string. Because Quinn, he has the personality to be on anybody's show. And he said, well, I called you in the rooms and I wanted to create a show for you. And he was like, yeah, you have. So they was kind of kissing each other's butts, if you will. But then, people always say, I'm already on your payroll and what's not. And on the Scott's payroll. I don't think he's on the Scott's payroll. But I think that he says the things for Carlos that Carlos don't want to say about Melody. Because he'll always give himself credit for creating Love and Marriage Huntsville when the concept came from Melody. He never, in situations like this, gives her props. Whether she had a different show in mind or not, She's not EP on the show for nothing. Yes, he as an experienced producer, he might have tweaked some things, but that's Melody show. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, I'm keeping it 110. Now, the drama. So he talked about TGIF, right? And like I said at the beginning, he said before that Claudia was his bro. And he gets on here, no. Everything was cool, this, that, and the third. It was more like a, behind the scenes issue with me. I had more issues with producers. Yeah, you did. So, he knows that he was the draw. I'll give him that, because I definitely stopped watching when he left. But he was the draw to a certain extent. Because not much longer after he said that thing about Chloe, I didn't really rock with him. I mean, that's why we watch him, right? Because we want to hear him say what's on his mind. But the way he said it, as if he knew her, and with all that malice, it didn't seem like he was just giving an opinion on her. He was acting real, like he was like she had done something to him, like it was personal. But anyway, he does Melody like that too, by the way. That's neither here nor there. And then he said that, he and Al are friends, but they're not friends like that. Carlos was like, well, if he wasn't a friend like that to you, then a person that wasn't a friend to him wouldn't have said, wait a minute, I'm on live. Quinn was like, what had happened? What had happened though? That's still funny to me. But he's like, well, we go out for drinks. We still getting to know each other. We still building our friendship. But I don't feel like Al would have come to him in that instance if it wasn't a closer friendship, at least in Al's mind. Excuse me. So let's get to Armand. Now he says he gave Armand the blueprint. He mentored him and everything. And when he did that roast, that was the nail in the coffin. I agree. I do agree. But at the same time, he said that he does feel like Armand had a battery in his back. And even though I like Claudia, I do feel like she is the one who put that battery in his back. Because the word on the street is, and I don't know how true this is, so it's alleged, is that Al was saying some things about her in a text and she saw it. So basically, to sum that up, Quinn believes that Armand ruined the show. He told him what to say and what not to say in his mentorship. Like I said, I do agree with that because that roast was totally out of line. And he said that it had the show not been canceled, the door would have been open for him to come back. Maybe he just needed a break. But I don't know about that. I don't know once Q started coming on at the same time they did to prove that his numbers were higher. I don't think he probably would have been welcomed back to the show like that. So that's just my opinion on that. And with that, I am going to close. You can go to Carlos King's channel to watch either one of those interviews. I think Dr. Evelyn may have it on her channel as well. Missing Mondays appears on both of their channels. And with that, I'm going to close. But before I do, please come in, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button. You'll be notified when I upload a video. Excuse me. Down. And as I do when I close, I'm going to chunk them up. Deuces.